In the second year of the pandemic, these scenes are frustratingly similar. Melbourne is once again on the brink.
I want to be upfront with everyone this morning. I cannot rule out taking some further action. It's fair to say that the next 24 hours are going to be particularly critical.
The outbreak began on May 11th when a Wollert man in his 30s tested positive. He'd spent 2 weeks in hotel quarantine in Adelaide and had tested negative 4 times during his stay. A report today found he likely caught the disease through aerosol transmission between adjacent rooms.
There was an infected person staying adjacent to this man who's come to Victoria. What our studies have shown is that it's very difficult to isolate a room in a building such as a hotel from adjacent rooms or adjacent corridors. The buildings just aren't built for it. There's many pathways that the air could take, and one of those could be from room to room.
If you recognise Jason Monti, it's because he's been on 7:30 before, warning about the risks posed by inadequate ventilation in hotel quarantine.
When we look at those people that are coming in with COVID, the hotel quarantine system isn't looking quite so good.
10 days after the Wollert man tested positive, a man in his 30s in Melbourne's north, case 1, developed symptoms. He tested positive on Monday. So did 3 of his family members. And then came what's called case 5. Case 5 developed symptoms on May 17th and is likely to have passed the virus on to case 1. But the mystery is what happened in this gap between the Wollert man and case 5.
It's still a mystery as to how case number 5 got infected in the first place, kind of hoping that that might be the direct link, or I'm hoping, to the Adelaide hotel quarantine escape. But of course the concern is that there's a gap there.
Working out what happened in this gap is an important task for Victoria's contact tracers. And they're being watched closely, since inadequate contact tracing was partly blamed for last year's second wave and Melbourne's 112-day lockdown. But according to Professor Catherine Bennett, things have improved enormously.
We're worlds apart, where we've not only built the system, we've now become match fit. So I think we should be much more confident in our contact tracing.
Having said that, after the Wollert man tested positive on May 11th, a Woolworths in Epping was mistakenly listed as an exposure site. The actual Woolworths store was 4 kilometres away in Epping North. It took 2 weeks for the mistake to be revealed.
The risk is that there are other casual contacts at that other Woolworths that didn't get tested at the time. But at the end of the day, the high testing in the community and I guess the public disclosure that they had that Woolworths site not correctly identified and encouraging people to come forward as soon as they knew that helps just rule out the possibility that you're going to have missed cases there.
The list of exposure sites is growing around Melbourne.
At about 11 o'clock last night, I got a message from my boss saying there'd been an exposure when I worked last Thursday, so almost a full week ago.
High school student Frank DeCatis works at a Coles supermarket identified as a Tier 1 exposure site, and he now has to isolate.
I've gone and gotten tested today after a 2-hour wait since everyone's trying to get tested recently.
It's far from ideal given he's in his final year of high school.
It's going to impact it a lot. I've got lots of tests for all my subjects that go towards my end of year mark, so I'm going to have to do a lot of remote learning.
There's even more pressure on contact tracing this time around because genomic testing has shown that the Indian variant is the virus involved, and the latest research suggests it's much more contagious.
So-called Indian variant looks like it's up to 3 times more transmissible than the original Wuhan strain. 6171, the virus that's in Australia, which is also an Indian variant that's disappearing now from India, we know less about. It's very likely to be more transmissible than the original Wuhan strain significantly. We don't know everything about it yet, but we should treat it as even more concerning.
And here's the thing. Given long-standing concerns about new variants, hotel quarantine, and Australia's lagging vaccine rollout, experts like Brendan Crabb say this outbreak was entirely avoidable.
This outbreak is inevitable. We'll see more until hotel quarantine is tightened up. So it's a weakness in our system that needn't be, and let's hope this is the wake-up call to fix it. With a bit of luck and good management, this Melbourne outbreak will be the warning shot we need to get vaccinated.
Early signs suggest this is the case.
We will go through some screening questions and the consent.
Dr. Shazia Muhammad Ali is relieved that the queues at the Melbourne Convention Centre mass vaccination clinic are finally filling up.
It's the busiest that we've ever seen it. With the small number of cases that we've got at the moment, it just kind of spurs people to go, okay, you know what, we are at risk of this getting bigger at any time, and it is important that we protect ourselves primarily and our community at large. So I think that's factoring into a lot of why people are here today. So I'm expecting that when we have our team meeting at the end of today, there'll be lots of cheers and claps because we would have reached a new number today.
It was a similar story at this testing clinic 7:30 visited.
I've never seen it so busy. I've never seen such a big line out the front of the hospital. So I'm really hoping this is translating to all the other testing sites around the state. I know some people have had concerns. I think that now that we are seeing how easily COVID outbreaks can happen in the community, it's a great chance for those people to go and speak to their doctors, think about their own risk, and have another think about the urgency of getting vaccinated.
And today, the federal government admitted that 29 residential aged care facilities in Victoria had not had a single vaccine dose. They also said that more vaccine doses are headed Victoria's way. Even so, Brendan Crabb is hopeful that Melbourne can avoid the worst.
Australia has two jewels that make it the envy of the world. It's COVID zero status and the magic of vaccines. What we're not doing is maximising the benefit of those two jewels. So let's hope this is the big wake-up call. This outbreak in Melbourne is the big wake-up call to help us do that and to get out of this as quickly as possible.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.